G'day everybody. What the hell is happening? Drones everywhere. New York, New Jersey, all surrounding areas in the US. It's absolutely amazing. What's going on? Officials stating that they don't know. They don't know where these drones or unmanned vehicles are coming from. They don't know who's sending them. They can't track them. They can't track where they're coming from. They can't track where they're going. They have no idea who's behind it, but they're not dangerous. How the hell do they know? How the hell? Now, a lot of you who watch my channel are aware, obviously, I'm Australian. I don't live in New York or New Jersey. But there have been sightings now in Australia, especially around US military bases in Australia. It's in Europe. Presumably, there's been sightings in Moscow. I've got a couple of theories. First of all, I don't think that if you are stating that you don't understand what this is about, you don't understand where these are coming from, then you can't say that there's no nefarious reasons for it. The FBI have come out and said they don't know anything. They don't know where the drones or these unmanned vehicles are coming from. The Department of Defense say they don't know. They say they're not American and they're not from one of America's counterparts, such as Russia, Iran, China. But they can't say where they're coming from. Don't know. They say they can't track them, which I don't believe. I mean, the fact is, they can tell your license plate from satellites up in orbit. So how can they not track drones? So it leads me to believe a few things. Either the government, the US government, is lying, and they do know where these vehicles are coming from, what they are, who's sending them, where they're going when they finish, or they can't track them, which means the technology that's being used is so advanced that the US military, NASA, cannot track these vehicles. Or the third option is that they're completely incompetent, they haven't bothered trying. But according to the DoD, they are aware, President Biden is aware, they are investigating it, the FBI are investigating it. These things have been going on for over a month. I find it almost impossible to believe that they don't know something. Unless this is just such advanced tech that they can't track them. Now there's a couple of theories out there and I'd like to go through a couple of them. So a lot of people thinking it's probably American black op. You know, it's the US government doing this, it's the military. Well, for me, I don't believe that. And the reason I don't believe that is generally with a lot of black op, I'm not military, I'm not US military, but from what I've heard from people that are involved in the military, this is not really something that they generally would do. If you're trialing new types of technology, new drones, whatever it is, constantly flying them over residential and military areas night after night after night for months. And this could, who knows how long this is going to go on for. And this has been happening periodically for a couple of years in various parts of the world. Same things. Things that look like drones have been going over military facilities for a number of years. This is really the first time that I can remember that's really going over a lot of residential areas as well. So I don't think the US military are doing this. And if they were, it would make sense to me to say that once it's becoming public, once Congress are involved, once the FBI are involved, once mayors of cities are making complaints, once it's all over the news, that you'd probably stop. You'd probably stop and have a rest and say, well, okay, we're not going to let anybody know about this, but we're going to stop. You don't continue to keep going when it's so public. So that's why I don't believe it's US. Also, Department of Defense said it's not US, so unless they're lying, which they could be, it's not US. Could it be one of the US's enemies, Russia, China? A lot of people are saying that. Now, the reason why I don't believe that is because it's giving away their positions too much. I mean, these vehicles are flashing lights, so they're not being stealthy at all. They want us to know they're there. It's like they want us to know that these vehicles are in the sky. So I can understand with the war in Ukraine that maybe Russia might use operatives in countries, sleeper cells, or organised crime gangs to say, look, start flying drones over the US, military facilities, and also residential facilities. Let them know we're here, just so it's a bit of a sign to the US that, look, you may be giving Ukraine weapons that can hit Russia, but we can also hit you. I can see that happening. But after a month or more, I don't think they'd still be doing it. I think it'd be a one-off exercise, and that would be it. So, because not only would those actions potentially cause a war between the US and Russia, it would also give away their positions. So any extra advantage that Russia or China or Iran or whoever it might be has in the US with sleeper cells, they'd have to understand that if they're going to be putting these drones up every single night, eventually they'll be caught and they will no longer have an advantage. So that's why it doesn't make sense to me that it's a foreign adversary. So what could it be? I don't believe it's just general public because of the sightings. There's so many of them, and some of these vehicles have been compared to military drones that are so expensive. There are hundreds of these things flying every single night. It's not like these are $200 drones. Something's going on. I have a couple of theories about it. I won't go to them in this video. I might go into them into my next one. But I just want to say that I don't, this is very interesting. And there's a lot of talk online. There's a lot of, in the US, there's a lot of news coverage from smaller networks. I know CNN and Fox are now been talking about this a little bit, but not as much as they should be. And I know in Australia, as far as I've seen, there's no coverage of this. And I'm imagining probably in most other Western countries, there's no coverage of this. This is huge. This is massive, especially now that there have now been vehicles described as drones flying over US bases in Australia. And if it was Russia or China, which I don't think it is, why are there now reports that these things are now being seen in Moscow and in China? I believe there's been now sightings and reports from India and various other countries. So something is definitely happening. And it's going to be very interesting. But I'm not happy with the media coverage. And I'm not happy just with people suddenly saying, oh, it's American Black Op. Oh, it must be the Russians. They're sensible arguments, but you really got to think about it. And I just don't think any of those things make sense. I do have one theory. Where the US could be slightly involved, but it's not for this video. Anyway, just wanted to touch base and discuss this. All right, I'll catch you later. Bye.